So I just finished watching Amazon's Invincible, and bitch, when I tell you, I am shook. So I know I've been gone for a minute. Life was kicking my ass, and when I say life, I really mean school. But the end is near. Graduation right around the corner. I'm in better spirits than I was a couple months ago. So I was like, what a better way to come back to my channel than to talk about this show that everyone seems to be talking about. So yeah, I literally just finished binge watching that show, and like, wow. That honestly, that's all I can say is wow. And I don't even know where to begin because there's so many things that I like about this show. So I'm just like, just bear with me. It's probably going to be a bit more frantic and as organized as some of my other videos, but I have so much to say, so many like positive things to say about this show. Let's start with the obvious. Omni-Man. Let's play a game real quick. Let's play a game called Spot the Difference. Do y'all see a difference? Because I don't. I don't. I'm convinced that Omni-Man, and I feel like if I were to do further research, I would be correct in my assertion that Omni-Man is like based off of Hitler. And I don't think it's a coincidence. He kind of resembles him either. But basically, this man he's basically Space Hitler. The whole, like the Voltrumites, when he was explaining their ideologies, I was like, oh, so y'all basically space eugenicists, Space Hitler. Okay, that's what it was giving me at least. So the last episode, I'm gonna be all over the place within the season. There's 8 episodes, so I'm gonna be all over the place. But that last episode, when I tell you, I mean, I was watching that with my mouth just the entire time because when he was fighting, when Mark, he's basically the main character. When Mark was fighting his dad, and he revealed to him what he was really doing, what he was there for, I was just like, oh my God. And the fact that his mom Debbie, and I'm gonna get on that later, but she heard everything that, Nolan had to say, and I was just like, oh my fucking God. Like, and fair warning, spoiler alert, obviously. But basically, Omni-Man is a Viltrumite, and their entire like thing is to conquer other planets and only like the best survive. Like, they take survival of the fittest and like amp it up to 1,000. And like, it's literally only the strong can survive and help conquer other planets. So I was like, wow. And so Omni-Man was sent to Earth to conquer it, but he ended up, falling in love, and I'm gonna get on that later. Falling in love with, a human, and giving birth to a son. And that entire time, I'm watching them fight it out and duke it out, and just watching how like gruesome it is, and him explaining his ideologies. I'm like, he's telling his son, it doesn't make sense to love these humans. You will literally live 1,000 years. He's like, your mom is like a pet to me. I was like, not a pet. Oh my God. Like, just the entire ideology about why they do what they do. It made me, I feel like this show is a really good commentary on so many things within society. One of which being like this whole idea of following orders, about, adhering to whatever, you're told to do. Because like basically their whole idea is like conquer the planet, only the best people can come. But I'm just like, you spent your like 20 years, basically building a life. And even if it was kind of like a sham, I'm just like, you had a sense of agency, and like you don't have to do what you're doing now. He was like, look what you made me do. He's beating the hell out of Mark. And he's blaming Mark for what he's doing to him. I'm just like, yo, this man is crazy. Like, it was like textbook abusive partner. The way he was beating up on Mark, and I'm like, I wonder if he ever like raised his hand or got abusive with Debbie. It wouldn't surprise me. But like, just this whole idea of like following orders. But I'm like, humans all have a sense of agency, so you can only blame orders so much. I'm like, no one's making you beat up your son. No one's making you do that. You're deciding to do that. So I'm just like, I'm a man, child, and Mark. In the beginning, I wasn't really feeling Mark. I'm like, what is this motherfucker doing? But as the season progressed, he started to grow on me. But Mark, sir, watching you get your ass handed to you by your father, I was just like, Mark, you gotta be smart at this point. Like, you are not going to win a fight against your dad. This man literally killed the entire Guardian League, the off-brand Justice League. He killed them. And I was gonna say he didn't break a sweat, but he did. That nigga was in a coma for like 2 weeks. But still, I'm like, if he can kill all the basically the Justice League, the equivalent of the Justice League, I don't know what makes you think. If it was me, I'd have been in there like, okay, Dad, you know what? Let's conquer these humans. Even if I didn't mean it. Because he was handing out phase left and right. He literally, child. I'm about to be all over the place. The scene where he took him, threw him, I think it was in Chicago. He threw him under the subway and he was like, I'm about to teach you a lesson. He literally, give me some, I need a pop. Bitch. He had Mark and and the train was all them people, all the blood. I was just like, oh my God. And that leads me to my next point. Another thing that I thought was really interesting about this show was how it depicted like human carnage and casualties. Like I think even though it was very gruesome at times, I appreciated it because it was very realistic. Because if like superheroes existed in our world, human casualties would be through the roof. Like bitch, a human could die falling down the stairs. So what makes you think in a world of superheroes, when they're duking it out with a villain, there's not gonna be human casualties, bitch? You can die tomorrow just in a car crash. Like we are literally like we're sacks of meat and flesh. Like we are very, very vulnerable. So as gruesome as it was to watch, I appreciated it because it was very realistic. And I think this show did a good job of that. And another movie that made me think that I think did a good job of that was Man of Steel with Henry Cavill. I think it came out in 2013. But that scene, he duked it out with Zod and it was just damage left and right. I'm like, that's how it would be. Because what we gonna do? What are humans gonna do? Stop them? No. So I'm just like, yeah, the human carnage and casualties, it was gruesome, but it was very realistic. Another thing that I like how this show kind of made me think about was like human life and our morality and our mortality. This idea of like a life on other planets. And like, I know for me, I personally believe, like we know there's billions of galaxies. So I refuse to believe that humans are the only one. I fundamentally believe there's life on other planets. I don't know how advanced they are compared to humans, but I think humans, we would be making a mistake to assume we're like the peak of, creation. I think we would be making a mistake to do that. Matter of fact, hell, if there are aliens watching this right now, I can't speak for everybody. I speak for myself. Bitch, I come in peace. Okay, bitch? I don't want no smoke. I come in peace and in humor, bitch. Kiki, haha, I don't want no smoke. So like I said, if it was me, and if a motherfucker like Omni-Man came up and was like, bow down, bitch. Girl, let me like, what am I gonna do? So like this whole idea of aliens and life on other planets, it's just like, if there really are, it's not a question of are, I just think it's a matter of finding them. So like this whole idea of aliens and other life, other species, it's just like, damn. And which leads me to my next point. I think they explore the idea of power. And like this idea of just because you have power, does that mean you have to exert it on other people or other, beings in this case? So I'm just like, I think it's a really, really, really good, within the superhero genre, I really think this show shake things up a bit. Because I feel like within the comic book superhero genre, I feel like, Marvel and DC, they get all the attention. I mean, and I kind of rightfully so, because they kind of did pioneer that genre. But I appreciate, Amazon taking, their own unique spin on the superhero genre. And they did this with another show too, The Boys. So Amazon y'all onto something. Y'all ain't shit as employers, but bitch, y'all make good TV. So we can acknowledge multiple things. Another thing I want to talk about was Debbie, Omni-Man's wife. When he said that pet comment about her, he's like, I view her as a pet. I was just like, and she heard that. And if you notice, in the beginning of the season, there were signs that she would, because I think it's insinuating that she's gonna kind of like have a battle with alcoholism, because she keeps turning to that bottle. And I don't say that with judgment. I honestly don't blame her. Like, there are way worse coping mechanisms. So if you gotta drink some wine every now and again, girl, bitch, bottoms up. Because I can't imagine like basically spending your whole life with someone from another planet only to find out that man is basically, one, doesn't age, two, he doesn't view you as like his wife and romantic partner, but more of like a pet. I'm just like, damn, sis. And he was lying to you for basically 20 years. My heart goes out to Debbie. And also, shout out to Sandra Oh. Sandra Oh was when I found out that was the actress playing the character, I was like, oh shit. No pun intended. But Sandra Oh, it's the range for me. It really is the range for me. That woman can do no wrong in my opinion. And also shout out to J. Jonah. Look at me calling him J. Jonah Jameson. Shout out to J.K. Simmons, who also played J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man trilogy. But that man, like J.K. Simmons, the range that this man, I mean, I just hats off to that man. Like literally, he played the hell out of this character. And also the supporting characters in the show, and my particularly Mark's friend group. So his girlfriend, I don't know the names yet, but his girlfriend, Adam, Eve, and his gay friend. I loved the way all of them were written. I feel like they added, like within a friend group, I feel like that was a very realistic depiction of what a friend group looks like. Very distinct personalities, their own problems, but when they come together, it's like it meshes really well. I appreciated that also too that his friend group weren't like stereotypes. I mean, the gay friend kind of was, just to in terms of like how thirsty he was, but like I appreciated it only because I do know like really thirsty gay people. So like it wasn't as so much of a stereotype as it was depicting how reality can be. But like I said, overall, I really think his supporting, like his friend group, Mark's friend group, those supporting characters were written really well. I really liked how, and like how they each had kind of their own fleshed out stories. So it wasn't like they were there just to support, Mark. So I really did appreciate that too. Another thing that this show made me think about, like the ethics of cloning, the blue brother clones, and how they helped the robot dude. Bear with me because I'm still learning these characters' names. How they basically cloned a body for him and gave him that. I thought all the cloning that was happening, that was it made me think about the ethics of that, and what's permissible, what's acceptable, and how far is too far. So again, hats off to the writers for just giving us a bunch of content and a lot of critiques and commentaries on life here. All in all, like this show, it definitely feels like a cultural reset. Like Amazon, y'all were in your bag. Hats off to y'all. I have a lot of lingering questions, but obviously they're probably going to be answered in season 2 and 3 because Amazon announced it got renewed for 2 more seasons. So I'm like, as it should. As far as Omni-Man went, he left Earth, and they said that, Volamites don't do that. Like, they're supposed to stay and conquer. So no one's ever left before. So I'm very interested to see where Omni-Man went and if he's coming back. I feel like he is. But I think it was very apparent that his time there started to impact his ideology and how he views humans. Because I'm like, you could see he was trying to, like, teach his son a lesson and even was willing to kill him. But the part that he was like, who would you have left? He was choking him on the mountain. He was like, who would you have left? And he was spitting up blood, Mark. And he said, I would have you. And you could see visibly, like, Omni-Man was like, oh, shit. And so I think, personally, this man wants to reassess some things. That's just my hypothesis. And I know there is a comic series that the show is based off of. I'm debating, do I want to read the comics? Because I don't want to spoil the show. Like, I really appreciate the show. I think what I'm going to do is probably watch the show and then read the comics. Because most times the movies the TV show don't hold up to the comics. Like, the books are always better. But, like I said, the way the show was executed was just, like, a chef's kiss. That's my little diatribe about the show. But I'm thoroughly impressed. Hats off to Amazon. Let me know what y'all thought about the show. Things you picked up on, things you liked, things you hated. I'm not gonna be gone as long as I was a couple months ago. Now that I'm gonna have more time on my hands because I'm graduating school, I plan on uploading a bit more frequently now. So yeah, but yeah, that's my little 2 cents. I'll see y'all later.